welcome back. So you know how lately roller skating's been a trend like literally everywhere? There's everyone just like getting those Impala skates, skating around, just looking all cool and shit. So in around November of last year, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get skates. I'm gonna do it. I got these roller skates from Rebel and I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna do it, you know? I've been ice skating, I did gymnastics, it's just balance. How hard can it be? Turns out, I fell on my ass more times than I can count, as you saw from the montage earlier. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So day one was a little bit rough. I started off just in my backyard and I quickly discovered that ice skating was in fact not similar to roller skating. My backyard is also just fully bricks on the ground, which meant that I was tripping over bumps a lot. I managed not to fall too much, but that's mainly because I was too scared to do anything that risky. I did fall twice though. I mainly just practiced my striding, but I did try a few bubbles. In the end though, I decided that I needed to get off the brick, so for day 2 I went to the basketball court near my house to practice.
Okay, we can talk, I'll just take the sound out.
Day 2 was a lot better. The basketball court was much smoother, so I managed to remember how to stride and I managed to get a little bit more confident. I also practiced some forward and backwards bubbles, although I still don't know how to stop, as you can see here.
Wait. How do I stop? Okay, oh god. I don't know how to stop.
Day 3 was the day that I saw the most improvement. I was getting really confident with my striding, so I decided instead to practice forwards and backwards bubbles. I started with just going back and forth for a bit. Once I got confident with that, I moved on to just going forwards and then just going backwards. Going forward proved to be extremely easy for me, but going backwards, not so much. I wasn't really sure how to put my feet, and it took me a while before I realized I really had to squeeze my thighs together, and I did not have the strength for that. Day 4 was honestly quite scary. I figured it was time to learn how to skate backwards because I was doing pretty okay with skating forwards. I vaguely remembered a tutorial that I'd watched from Nicole Fiore, so I thought I could just go for it. I started off, as you'd expect, not so well. I wasn't moving much, and as soon as I started moving, I'd roll over my front wheels and fall forward. I also practiced stopping. I tried using my toe stop, but that wasn't really working. So instead, I ended up just doing plow stops. I tried to simply reverse the forward striding, which worked a little better. I skated forward to figure out where I put my weight, and then I reversed it. I tried to put most of my weight in my heels so that I didn't fall forward, and after that I improved much quicker. I still fell quite a bit though. I did some backwards skating and backwards bubbles up and down the court for a bit, and I was really getting the hang of it towards the end. Finally, I tried to do these half bubble things. I couldn't quite get my feet to go directly in front of each other yet, but I figured it was good enough for now. Day 5 wasn't too bad. I warmed up with some backwards skating and then got right into it. I started by just crossing one foot over the other while standing still. Once I was okay with that, I tried to do it while rolling. At first, I could only bring myself to cross one foot over and just let it hover there, but eventually I put it down. It did not go so well. I remember the first one being pretty scary, but I wasn't too afraid of falling anymore, so I kept trying. I thought I was doing super well going in a straight line, but as you can see from the video, I definitely wasn't. I then moved on to turning. I used the lines in the basketball court to guide me, but it just wasn't working. I realized it was because I wasn't turning properly with my foot that was planted, so I practiced just turning with that foot. Finally, I tried to do these scissor things and they ended up okay. Day 6 was transitions. I started just practicing the open book, closed book method while standing. This day was really fun, honestly. I think I'd finally gotten over my fear of falling. I staggered my legs because supposedly that makes transitions a little bit easier. Once I started getting the standing ones pretty fast, I decided to try rolling. It didn't go as bad as I expected. I tripped a lot, of course, and a few times I was too scared to go for it, but mostly they went okay. By the end of the day, I felt a lot more confident and I started to roll a little bit faster. Day 7 was mainly just me attempting heel-toe spins with my sister watching. I couldn't do a 2-foot spin for the life of me, so I decided to just try a heel-toe spin instead and skip the 2-foot spin. I was inside on this day because it had been too hot to skate outside. My sister told me I was leaning back while I spun, but I wasn't too sure how to fix it. I just kept going the same as I was before.
That was not. Spinning, you're like, like you know these sacrifices and kisses. Stop.
Later I realized I should be tightening my core, and once I did that, I improved quite a bit. I also did a few spins the next day in the morning. Day 8, I was back outside. I hadn't done any spins outside yet, and I thought I'd just be able to wing it and it'd be exactly the same. I was very, very, very wrong. It took me quite a while to get my full spin back, and I was a little disappointed, but eventually I got the hang of it. I also practiced this heel spin thing, and I tried to do some spread eagles. It went about as well as you'd expect. Later, I tried to get 2 spins in a row. I slipped a lot and it was pretty up and down. Towards the end, I was getting quite frustrated, but then I realized that my upper body was completely just flailing about. I decided to focus on keeping my core tight, and I managed to get quite a few good ones.
Oh no.
On day 9, I didn't get to do too much, as it was New Year's Eve and I was practicing with a friend. I started just by skating around, doing some random things to warm up before getting into some rolling turns. They were a lot more difficult than I anticipated. As you can see from the clips, I clearly wasn't maintaining my posture or keeping my core tight at all, which meant I kept falling every which way. I eventually got the hang of it a little bit better, but I still couldn't manage to roll out of them properly. Then, I just practiced some regular standing spins before leaving for the day.
Oh my
my god, that was so cool! I did too! I also embarrassed the shit out of myself by celebrating too loud as some people were walking by. Day 10 was really frustrating for me. I was trying to practice my spins, but it simply was not working. In the beginning, I could barely do one spin, and I kept falling all the time. I tried to keep my core tight, but my feet would then slip out of position. At one point, I had this really bad fall. I had to stop for a few seconds to make sure my knee wasn't screwed up, but I was fine. After that, I lost most of my confidence. Every time I slipped, I got really scared, and I was too scared to spin properly. It was just a mess. My foot kept getting stuck in the same position, so I moved places hoping to find some flatter ground with fewer sticks. Later, I managed to regain some confidence and my turns got a little bit better. Finally, I struggled to practice a different style of backwards skating that was more flowy. Day 11 I also found really frustrating. I warmed up and got straight into some spins, but they were just not working. I could barely get around once, and I ended up getting really frustrated, as you can see here. I'm going to die. Eventually, I decided that I was just too frustrated and it wasn't going to work, so I gave up for the day and just did some random skating instead. Day 12 was actually really fun. I warmed up by trying those heel spin things, and I fell a bit, but I kind of got on to it. Then I looked up some YouTube tutorials for the snake walk and tried to do the back leg. I'm so confused. Out in... What the fuck? I found it really confusing and I kept doing it completely wrong.
No. Oh my god.
Only when I got to Nicole Fiore, I finally got into a groove and made it kind of okay. Day 13 was really nice. I warmed up with some spinning. I'd hit a breakthrough in my spins at home when I realized that the reason I kept slipping out of place was because I put all my weight in my heel foot, which just happens to be my dominant foot. When I made an effort to put weight in my right foot, I improved immediately, and my spins got much better. Damn it. Later, I practiced some T-stops, as I hadn't been confident enough to try them before. They didn't go super well. Eventually, I managed to get them a little bit smoother, but they still weren't very nice, and I'm still not sure how to do them. In the end, I practiced some more spinning, and I was extremely surprised and happy to later land 3 spins in a row. I of course fell a lot immediately after. Day 14 was more about having fun than anything else. It was mainly just about the fact that I had finished the 14 days, I had improved a lot, and I was just really happy with myself. So I did a bit of everything. I failed at some spins, I tried some spread eagles, I did some backwards skating, And of course, I did some spins. Here are the highlights, both good and bad. Finally, I tried to shoot the duck, and I finally had some leg strength for it. Overall, I was really proud of myself and how far I'd come. So, get roller skates, it's really fun.